Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. I have been activated by ESPN, but not named a starting fake sports anchor yet, Perna. That's where the similarities between Drew Lock and I end, especially if you know what his nickname is. Broncos head coach Vic Fangio stated these exact words about their QB situation heading into the Chargers game. "We haven't decided yet, but we're definitely going to activate Drew tomorrow, and he'll be dressing on Sunday for sure." So we don't know if Drew Lock is starting, but we know for sure he will not be naked on the sideline for the Broncos. He will be dressed, confirmed by Fangio. Today I want to discuss Lock and the dumb quarterback hot takes raining like snow on social media. This won't be a normal preview episode, but you can blame Thanksgiving and whatever God invented that holiday for that. That's good sports. If you could kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel, that would be greatly appreciated. I do have Big Dick Patreon shout out for my new patrons, where all $5 patrons receive a Patreon-only video. We've got the next one in the works. Will, TJ, better get on that. And we'll be uploading that within the next week and a half, 2 weeks max, but it will be coming. Shout outs, Guy Furman, Garrett Buxton, Caleb, I'm sorry I said your name wrong. Caleb K-Wall, aka Young K Money, repping Wyoming up in this bitch. Spot 420, Katie, Ray, and Brax, and Mike Grover. Thank you guys so much for your donations. Patreon.com/ThatsGoodSports is where you can support this channel. Drew Lock is facing an uphill battle, okay? Not only is he a rookie, starting on a team that may or may not have checked out for the rest of the season, he's got the curse of Chiefs fans believing in him. They are worried he will turn our team around. You never want a rival fan base saying they like a guy you drafted. That's a curse beyond a curse. Remember when we all shat on Patrick Mahomes for being inaccurate in college and for throwing a lot of interceptions in a single training camp practice? That's what you want. Arrogance, hate, and trash talking, not support like Raj Sheeran's tweet suggested. Now, knowing Lock might play Sunday and seeing the reaction to Josh Allen got me a little whiskey worked up on Thursday, okay? The lack of patience for young quarterbacks in the NFL is unfair. Everyone here watching expects that they be given an appropriate amount of time to learn to perform well at their job. Yet when we see young men aged 21 to 23 years old, we crucify them if they are not instantly great at a job significantly more difficult than most of ours. Quarterback is one of the hardest jobs in sports, second only to being a woman in sports media. Now, I am completely burnt out on everyone always pretending to be right in sports media. Own up to being wrong and stop pretending with the aid of hindsight that you knew the correct course of action about the football team you cover. Drew Lock will, again, maybe, probably, possibly, hopefully start on Sunday for the Broncos or play. But Thursday evening, after Josh Allen played the best game of his career, there were some birds chirping about how John Elway's most recent massive fuck-up was not drafting Josh Allen. Now, if you travel back in time to the spring of 2018, you might remember that everyone in Denver was terrified that John Elway was going to draft Josh Allen and set the Broncos back another 1,000 years to being the Rockies. That was the pulse here in Denver and in Denver sports media. But now that Allen is playing pretty good football, he is the surefire quarterback we all wanted, despite not wanting him when he was available. And we all knew he would be great if only the Broncos had the brains to have drafted him. The hot takes are crazy. Josh Allen has tremendous talent, but he's played a little over a half season of pretty good football. There is a lack of patience for giving young quarterbacks time to develop, and an even bigger rush to crown them as franchise guys as soon as they play a couple good games. Every day is Overreaction Monday in sports media, and the guillotine is being sharpened for John Elway's head for drafting a pretty damn good pass rusher in Bradley Chubb, who tore his ACL, just like another pretty damn good pass rusher Elway took first, and then a year later drafting Drew Lock, who we have yet to see play. Lock is a complete unknown in terms of NFL QB talent, but now it is clear the Broncos should have drafted Josh Allen. What the fuck are you talking about, and why aren't you dildo brain saying Lamar Jackson instead of Allen? Oh, right, because Josh Allen played at Wyoming, which is way closer to Colorado than wherever the fuck Lamar Jackson was college homeschooled. And it was easy for Elway to drive an hour up the road and watch Josh Allen. He was on our radar. Or for Elway to fly an hour to stick his keys in lock. Criticize the Broncos front office for not taking the guy who might win MVP. Not the guy who I was watching on Thanksgiving and thought, oh shit, he's having his best career game so far, and it's still not anywhere close to an average Lamar Jackson performance right now. Would Josh Allen even be succeeding after a year under Bill Musgrave, and then being forced to learn a new system with Rich Scangarello here in Denver? That's hard to say. Blame John Elway for having to make the same mistake twice before he learns with quarterbacks. Drafting 2 giants that failed, signed 2 free agents that were fool's gold, and blame the football gods for no QB drafting luck in Denver ever. Jay Cutler is the best quarterback the Broncos have ever drafted. Think about that. Hopefully, Drew Lock is the right pick because John Elway felt completely wrong about drafting him. Like when George Costanza starts doing the opposite of his instincts, which leads to his great success. With Drew Lock on the roster, the Broncos could have a better quarterback than Josh Allen. Could. We don't know. We still don't know Josh Allen's ceiling. And with Lock, all we know is that his thumb is susceptible to injury, and Chiefs fans really like him. And knowing nothing, suddenly there's a lot of certainty that Josh Allen is better than Drew Lock, which could be true, but again, we don't know. So I just want a little more humbleness, a little more verbiage that doesn't paint people who are guessing as experts who know a truth that can't be known yet. Unless it's a truth being used to discredit Tom Brady's career, I just want people to stop looking for specific examples to fuel their dumbass points of view and instead wait for collective evidence to present itself to form a real and valid football opinion that sole purpose is not aimed to just piss people off on social media or turn people against any player not named Tom Brady. Wanting to bash the Broncos front office is the cause of these observations. That's not the scientific method, morons. You skipped the first step. The observations should be the cause of bashing the Broncos front office. Observation, hypothesis, experimentation, conclusion. These people start with the conclusion and go backwards, which is why they probably never graduated high school, making their sports takes invalid. But back to Drew Lock, all right? After about a month of people once again condemning the Broncos for mismanaging their quarterback room, he's still going to get to start the last 4 to 5 games, barring injury, which is what people wanted in the first place. They let him get healthy, didn't drop him into an impossible situation on the road at Minnesota and Buffalo, and they should get a decent enough sample size to start his evaluation. Sounds pretty much perfectly managed. But because they didn't telegraph their plans to the media, the Broncos are now more poorly run than the Papa John's PR team.
I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days.
Especially whoever's job it was to tell Papa John not to make it sound like he was plotting genocide.
Stay tuned. The day of reckoning will come.
Lock is maybe, probably, hopefully starting against the Chargers, a Chargers team that's been pretty lackluster this season. He does have some guys to worry about on defense in Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, and now Derwin James, who's being activated off of IR and playing for the first time this Sunday. But there's no perfect team to get his first start against this season. God punished the Broncos by not getting either Cincinnati, Washington, or Miami on the schedule this year. We can't all have 4 games against 3 of the worst teams in the NFL like the fucking Patriots. To make things a little more tricky, Jawan James practiced all week for the Broncos, but still is questionable for Sunday. Von Miller, Alexander Johnson, both 50-50 to play. So even with the bad Chargers, still not ideal for Lock. Another thing that's important leading into Lock's first possible hopeful start on Sunday is expectations. His debut has been so heavily anticipated that he's basically entered savior status. And we have to keep in mind that about 75% of quarterbacks suck ass during their first start. Or if they're good right away, they fall back to the mean once defenses catch on to them. It's not about one game. It's not even really about the next 4 to 5 games. They might give us an idea, but it will be far from certain. John Elway sucked his first year. Never forget that. Peyton Manning set the interception record his first year. Drew Lock is much better than Paxton Lynch, but he might play like him for a while his first year. You need something like 20 games to get a reliable sense of who a player is at the quarterback position. Just look at Josh Allen, a certain bust according to many after last season, and now suddenly the Broncos' greatest failure, until he's a bust again when he has a bad game in the playoffs. Or Baker Mayfield, bringing that big dick unstoppable energy to the field in 2018 to suck in 2019, then to get good again in 2019, but for nobody to notice because we've moved on from the Browns. So what do we want to see out of Locke on Sunday? A win would always be nice. 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, maybe a feud with Phillip Rivers like Jay Cutler. That would be awesome, but that probably won't happen. Phillip Rivers may already be dead inside. What we want to look for is potential and leadership. Let's see what he can do. The throws he's capable of making. How much does his arm open up the field? Does he know how to take a snap under center? I'd feel good if we see like 2 throws where we go, damn. Allen, Flacco, Keenum, Lynch, Osweiler, Simeon probably couldn't have done that. Or if the defense gets a turnover, does he capitalize? Or can he just throw a fucking touchdown in the red zone? My expectations are low, Drew. They're very low, Drew. And then, when he fucks up, because he inevitably will fuck up, how does he respond? Does he get back on the sideline, look at what happened, and correct the mistake? Or does he start weeping like Paxton Lynch? There are 2 types of criers. Ugly criers like Paxton Lynch, and dignified single-tier criers like Blake Bortles and Noshawn Moreno. Be a single-tier crier, Drew Lock. Godspeed. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. I often talk about football here and vent my feelings about other people in sports media who are more successful than me and say dumbass shit and get paid handsomely for it.